Hello. Today I'm in this little park. I'm kind of in the middle of the city. So I'm hoping that my new microphone, which hopefully will be working better than the old microphone, and you'll get decent sound quality, and I'm hoping it's not picking up too much background noise, apart from maybe the birds which are around me chirping quite well. So anyway, today here I am in this, urban setting, to talk with you about the Trecena of Aj. And so Aj representing the community, representing leadership, representing the spinal column that makes us stand up for what is right, and representing harmony in our home and harmony in our community. We see all of these things coming together. And for me, the Trecena of Aj, having followed the Trecena of Ajpu, is all about what we can do with who we are and what we are. Ajpu can be very high-minded. It's looking about what we can become, where our spiritual path is and all that kind of thing. And then Aj kind of turns around and says, right, that's great. You've done all of that work. Now, what are you going to do with it? How are you going to make a difference in society? How are you going to make a difference in your community? How are you going to help your community to thrive with the learning, the action, the experience that you carry? And so, for me, this is what Aj is asking us to, put our mind to. And so we're going to begin the day with one Aj, or begin the Trecena with the day one Aj. And this, for me, we could see it as that resurrection of the leadership, or the rebirth of leadership, the beginning of the leadership potential. And maybe, kind of like sometimes we think we're training for something which is to come. We're kind of like, it's almost as if we're waiting for the sign, we're waiting for the signal. Are we experienced enough? Are we old enough? Are we, kind of like part of our community or not, kind of thing? And one Aj gives us the opportunity to say, right, okay, now it's time to step forwards. I like to see Aj, kind of like, my teacher in particular refers to Aj as the Nawal of the spinal column. And I think about Aj being what holds us up straight in our life. It's kind of like what gives us strength, put our shoulders back, put our chest out, be noble, be proud in what we're doing, and kind of like say, right, okay, this is my position to be within our community, and kind of like, what can I do with it? How can I make the world a better place through my actions? There's a lot of things where we would like the world to be a better place, and honestly, the actions that we might have absolutely no effect on it. Kind of like ranting on an internet forum is not going to get you where you want to be. What you need to do is go out and make sure that the world around you, within your community, is brought into harmony. And one Aj is a great day to rethink that, to reinitiate that, to get out there and start to do it. Now, sometimes we might need a bit of let's say, a push towards that. The one representing the seed needs to be in the right conditions. So, kind of like, it's pretty bit difficult to, bring out your leadership within a community if you're not within a community, if you don't know people around you, or whatever that might be. And so, find the place which nourishes you, that brings out that desire to help everyone to do better, and to help, kind of like make that community a more fertile place to be, to help it to thrive for all. From one Aj, we then move into two Ish. So Ish, the Nawal of the mother, the Nawal of the feminine, the Nawal of Mother Earth, and our connection with the sacred places. And here we see it with the number 2, which can represent choices, it can represent decisions. It's very binary in its nature. It's 1 or 0. It's yes or no. It's like, right, okay, you're going to help or you're not going to help. It's like, when we look at it, especially with regards to Mother Earth, it's kind of like, right, okay, are you going to help out? Are you going to do something? Are you going to take action, or are you going to take inaction? What's your path with it? What's your decision? What's your choice? I also like to see, Ish representing the sacred sites and representing our connection with Mother Earth through the sacred sites. And it's like, if we think of us, here's our sacred site. There's the transformer, the sacred site, and then Mother Earth's heart, that's the secondary. That's what we're connecting to. And so between all of those, it's like, right, okay, are we going to choose to connect, or are we going to choose to not connect? Are we going to choose to like find the sacred around us and the sacred within us or not? These might come up on the Tu Ish day about choices, decisions we make towards Mother Earth, towards the sacred. From Tu Ish, we then go into 3 Tzikin. So Tzikin representing the vision, representing the ability to fly above, to see kind of what's going on further into the future. And here connected with the number 3, representing the inner world, the creativity that comes from going within, looking within the home. And so with 3 Tzikin, we can see it very much as kind of like a reflective day. I often think of the 3 days as being reflective days. And it's kind of like reflecting, like chasing your inner vision. Maybe not chasing, looking for it, meditating on it, looking within for the vision that you're going to use to bring harmony to your community. It's got to start from within your own heart. That's like where you know what your place is. That's where you know what helps to thrive. And it's kind of like if we think, Aj wants the community to thrive. Tzikin has the vision to help things to thrive. And so here, it's like saying, right, okay, go inside, look for your inner vision and understand how you can use that to help your community to thrive. From 3 Tzikin, we then move into 4 Ajmach. So we have Ajmach representing human nature, Ajmach representing forgiveness, and here with the number 4, that down-to-earth, grounded material number 4. And so, like, there's part of it which is the material acceptance of humanity. And this is something, kind of like there is something, not without reason within society, which seems to be becoming less and less tolerant of people around us and people kind of like who make mistakes, people who are what they are, and people are human. Now, it's not to say that people don't need to apologize. That needs to be in there as well. People need to make up for what they've done. But, kind of like if we want to, kind of like hang something around somebody's neck and forever that's the case, then, kind of like that's losing part of our humanity as well. 4 Ajmach can bring these things up very much in our faces. It's about looking at what's going on in the physical world and understanding, kind of like, right, okay, those people are being human, those people are being human. As accepting ourselves and others for exactly who we are. And, kind of like most of us are not perfect. So, kind of like that's who we are. We got scars, we got past, we've got things that we're probably not that pleased about in our lives that, that's what's happened. It's part of us. And 4 Ajmach, for me, that's a day of kind of like really accepting things on the physical level and say, right, okay, that's what it is. That's what I can change. That's where I can forgive. That's where I can ask forgiveness for, in particular, my physical actions. From 4 Ajmach, we then move into 5 Noch. So, Noch, the Nawal of the mind, the Nawal of the brain, and here with the number 5. So, kind of like if we think about it, Noch is here to help us to think things through, to gather the information that we've got together in order to come up with a solution. The number 5 representing the work, representing the one hand that does the work, that, kind of like it's about putting our effort into it. So I often use the phrase, it's not going to just drop into your lap with the number 5. It's like we've got to put some energy into it, we've got to put some effort into it. But the same, if we're looking for harmony in our community, if we're looking for harmony in society, that's not just going to happen overnight, just spontaneously. We've all got to put some effort into it. We've got to use our ideas, we've got to use our minds, we've got to use our knowledge, combined with our hearts, hopefully, in order to come up with solutions for our community. And so we could see it very much being about, kind of like where can we put our energy to help use our knowledge to bring all of those kind of things together. From 5 Noch, we then move to 6 Tihash. So Tihash, a Nawal of purification, a Nawal of cutting through to the divine, a Nawal of bringing the best out of things. And here, combined with the number 6, the number of ultimate stability, and the number of family. Now, Tihash as the warrior or the surgeon, well, yes, there is always this thing with the surgery is not going to be painless. It's kind of like there is elements that need to be removed, and removing them is not going to be free from pain. That's just going to happen. But here, when we see it connected with the 6, we realize that this is to bring ultimate stability and for the family. Okay, and so this might be, kind of like in this Trecena of Aj. Well, Aj also represents the authority of the father, of the one that comes with the staff and says, hey, look, I'm in charge, or whatever it might be. And when we see it with the 6, the family, we realize that sometimes we have to do a little bit of pruning. We have to do a little bit of cleaning. Every so often, maybe once every 260 days, we have to look at what's going on within our family, what's going on within our household. And so, well, actually, kind of like we've allowed that to get further and further out of balance. And now we need to kind of like make an incision here or make a cut there or whatever it might be to bring it back to balance, to bring it back to stability, to bring it back to the divine nature, because that Tihash for me is seeing through to the truth. It's seeing through to the pure nature. It's seeing through to the greatest beauty. And when you're able to do that, you're able to bring balance. You're able to bring harmony. So it's kind of like, yes, it might be some surgery within your family. It might be some surgery within your community. But the whole point is to bring harmony. And sometimes, you've got to use, let's say, kind of like your ability to see through to the truth in order to do that. So, sometimes, like I say, these things are going to come out. Sometimes they might come out within our family, and sometimes it might hurt at the time, but it's necessary for later, later on. So from 6 Tihash, we're then going into 7 Kawok. So we have Kawok, the birth process. We have Kawok bringing the new into the world, and we have it there combined with the number 7, representing choices, also representing endings. It's kind of like the end of the birthing process. We could also see it kind of like as the end of the storms. I think there's many of us that are ready for the end of the storms right now. So it's kind of like one final push. Kawok is here to bring something into the world, and again, sometimes that's going to need some, kind of like some effort to do it, to push, to breathe, to whatever. Okay, but here it's like the final push. It's like the number 7. It's finally making that happen, bringing that in. We can also see both Tihash and Kawok representing healing energy. So it's kind of like finalizing the healing. It's like washing away the final bits of debris in order for the new to come in. That will happen in 20 days' time on the 1 Kawok, of course. So, kind of like we see how this can work. So it might be a good day to be looking at what do you need to finalize? What do you need to heal? What can you kind of like finish off in that way? We can also see with Kawok, she has to make a choice. And sometimes that healing, it's kind of like, I often talk about Kawok being like the tough love. Sometimes she's going to rip off the Band-Aid because you got to change the dressing for the healing to be finalized, right? And that's not going to be fun. So, kind of like this is kind of like the choice of like, right, okay, what needs to remain and what needs to be washed away? Kind of like, again, following on from that 6 Tihash day, the 7 Kawok day, this can bring, those, again, decisions about like, okay, what do we want to keep? What do we want to let go of? What we're going to wash away? And what we're going to nurture? So, from 7 Kawok, we're then going into 8 Ajpu. And here, in the middle of this Trecena of Aj, we see 8 Ajpu. Okay, so 8 Ajpu. Ajpu, the Nawal of the divine, the return to the source, the return to the divine. And here with the number 8. The number 8 I see as wholeness. The number 8 I see as like connecting with above and below, with yin and yang, black, white, however it might be. Okay? And where I want to bring this in is with the story of the hero twins in the Popol Vuh. Now they're Hun Ajpu and Ishbalamkiech, or Hun Ajpu and Wukub Hun Ajpu, 1 and 7 Hun Ajpu, which makes you 8 Hun Ajpu. And we see differences in the stories of the father and the uncle and the hero twins. Okay, so like the father and the uncle, they were from the upper world, the solar kingdom, and they got tricked in the underworld, and that was that. Their journey was over. Now, Hun Ajpu impregnated Ishkik. She gave birth to the hero twins, and then the hero twins went back to the underworld and had victory over the lords of the underworld. How? Because they understood that sometimes the hero needs to not just look at kind of like what's in the light, but they need to look at what's in the dark as well. Their father and uncle failed because they were just in the world of the light, and when the dark tried to play the tricks on them, they didn't get it, they didn't understand it, they didn't really kind of like realize they were being tricked. It was when the hero twins went down there with, kind of like their underworld mother and their upper world father. They were literally kind of representing those two parts together, the wholeness. That's why I bring it up for the number 8. It's understanding kind of like where the hero's path lies, and understanding that sometimes it's going to go through the light and sometimes it's going to go through the dark, and sometimes it's going to identify the light and sometimes it's going to identify the dark, and sometimes it needs to understand that there is truth and there is trickery, and kind of like applying that to the spiritual path and saying, right, okay, is this truth or is this trickery? Which one am I going to follow? Is kind of like we can see that coming up. Understanding the wholeness, and that sometimes the hero is moving through the world of the light and sometimes the hero is moving through the underworld. There's both parts of that. Now we can also see the number 8 as representing the wholeness of the hero's path. Okay, it's a day for celebration. It's a day for making your ceremony to give thanks for your spiritual path. So, kind of like if you feel like you're stuck in the underworld right now, then maybe it's a good day to ask, to make your ceremony, burn your candles, light your kopal, however it might be, in order to ask for some assistance, to be guided through the underworld and into the light by the hero within you. Okay? From 8 Ajpu, we then move into 9 Imosh, which I see as a very, very feminine day. We have Imosh representing the oceans, representing the lakes, and combining with the number 9, the number of life, the number of the feminine. So how can we look at this? Well, we could see 9 Imosh representing the waters of life. It makes me, like remember that I'm going to be putting the water for life connection into this segment of the video. Water is life, right? The Imosh I often see as representing the lake, the great ocean, and that could be the great ocean of consciousness that we all come from as well. The great ocean of consciousness that draws us all together. And here with the number 9 representing life. Imosh is very sensitive, it's very empathic. And the connection with the number 9, the life force spirit around us. But there's also something else about the number 9, which is the number 9 can be very independent. It's kind of like remembering your independence within your community. Now, we're in the Trecena of Aj, right? The Trecena of Aj asking us how we can, serve to bring harmony to our community. And 9 Imosh can very much represent, because Imosh is very empathic in its nature. The 9 is all about life, and this is kind of like the empathy for the life around you, helping to understand how Aj can help within your community. Okay, so on 9 Imosh, it can bring up a great deal of sensitivity in life. Sensitivity to the people around you, sensitivity to the community around you. It can also bring up a great deal of, kind of like bring out your life dreams, because that can come up as well. How does this, kind of like role within your community fit into your life dream? Now, of course, we can also see the 9 representing the feminine. And, kind of like if we think about it with regards to like our feminine intuition and our connection, our psychic connection with the women of our world. Finally, also kind of like the waters of life, again, okay, we might not necessarily be making ceremony, but if we were, it would certainly be worth making ceremony to give thanks for our waters of life. From 9 Imosh, we then go into 10 Ik. So, Ik, the Nawal of the voice, the Nawal of the breath, the Nawal of the announcement, and here with the number 10, representing community, representing harmony. So, it's no good if you keep it to yourself, right? Your big idea, your great vision, however it might be, all those things you've been working on throughout the Trecena, they're supposed to be helping to, enhance your community and helping to make your community a better place. You've got to speak with people about it. You've got to get it out there. And 10 Ik is exactly the day for it, because we have Ik representing the communication, the voice, the words, and the number 10 representing community. So if you need to get something out, if you need to communicate with your community to talk about what your idea is, to bring greater harmony to your community, to get greater kind of like stability within your community, then 10 Ik is a perfect day to go about that. It can also be, of course, it's not just about speaking the words, it's also about hearing the words. And Ik can be very inspiring in its nature, and so maybe 10 Ik is a great day to go and listen to people with regards to their ideas about how to enhance community. Because 10 Ik could be a good day, kind of like it's not, as I say, it's not just the input, it's the output. It's about hearing what others have to say within your community. From 10 Ik, we then move into 11 Ajbal. Ajbal, the Nawal of the dawn and the dusk, the Nawal of the twilight, and here combined with the number 11. Now, Ajbal often helps us to bring concepts from the dream into the physical world. It's the bridge between the night and the day, and reveals what's been hidden in the dark. And here with the number 11, that I kind of like see, it's over there, it's over there, it's over there, it's over there, it's over there. It's highly creative in its nature, but it's also very directionless. It needs to be directionless in its way, because that's how it gets to be creative, because it doesn't follow the usual logical path. So it's got to follow a different path. So we see with that 11 Ajbal, it's just concepts coming in from all over the place, concepts coming in from many different directions, concepts coming in not necessarily in a logical path, but allowing for each of them to be revealed, because later on they'll be useful. Maybe they don't all make sense, and those concepts, they're painted with broad brushstrokes, they're not in exact detail, but now they're just these ideas to put into your bag to understand the material that you're going to create with later on. So this is certainly a day for journaling your dreams. This is certainly a day for automatic writing and those kind of things. So be prepared to kind of like allow those, let's say, concepts to come to you. Might not make a lot of sense right now, but write them down for later. From 11 Ajbal, we then go into 12 Cat. Now, Cat, the Nawal of the net. What are we holding on to? What are we carrying? What are we attached to? And the number 12, life experience. Okay? As we go through our life, there is experience that we need to hold on to, and there is experience that probably maybe not so much. Okay? There is stuff that happened to us when we're 12 years old. Probably we don't need to keep in our bag anymore. Maybe we do. There is other stuff that's happened to us more recently that's more applicable, because what are we looking to do? We're helping to understand how to bring harmony to our community, how to stand up as a leader within our community. So we got to look at what's relevant. We got to look at what's in our net bag to understand what qualities we carry with us through our life experience that are worth holding on to in order to strengthen our community, and what qualities that we're holding on to that actually may have the opposite effect. Maybe there are old belief systems, maybe there's old details in there that really aren't much use anymore, that aren't going to help our community to flourish, and we need to let them go. We need to move with the time. We need to accept where we are in the world, or where we are in time right now. And 12 Cat is a great day to look through your bag, as it were, your memories, your ideas. Maybe this is physical as well, what you're carrying with you, and say, right, okay, is this helping or hindering my community? My stance on this, my understanding of this, my idea about this, does it help or hinder? My experience, can it help with the community? Or is this a case of like, well, we're doing it that way because we've always done it that way, that's holding the community back? It's a great day to be looking at that. And of course, the Cat Day is this decluttering day. It's about letting go of those things which no longer serve. So, kind of like looking through your life experiences and asking, does this serve me, or is this no longer of service? That is something which I think would be a good exercise on a 12 Cat Day. And then finally, we come to the hugely strong day of 13 Can. Okay, so we have the energy of Can, the serpent, the energy of power, the energy of wisdom, and we have that connected with the number 13. So the number 13, which can represent the ancestors, the number 13, which can represent spirit, and they're combined with Can, with power, with wisdom. This is just one of the most amazing days to be receiving messages. This is one of the most incredible days to be, kind of like tuning into your power, but also it can be one of the greatest deceptions of days. Can is here to help us to see through illusions. There are ways of doing that. And certainly this might be a good day to be asking your guides or asking spirit to help you to see through illusions. It's a wonderful day to be working with ancient knowledge, with ancestral knowledge, with knowledge of spirit. Wisdom comes from it. But it's also one of those really high-powered days where we need to be very aware of our actions. Now, if we have, let's say, that serpent within us under control, if we have our energy under control, then we can use it very beneficially. How do we do that? Things like Tai Chi, Qigong, Kundalini Yoga, anything that is bringing together energy with body movement. Aikido, Reiki to one degree or another, it's understanding how to allow energy to flow through our body. And when we are able to get a handle on that, to master it in some way, then we don't become, quite a slave, as it were. Otherwise, that energy can also run through our body, and we end up doing things that we look back later and go, oh, that wasn't what I wanted to do, or whatever. Now, in its highest form, and certainly, kind of like if we understand how to, let's say, take a breath, how to control our energy and that kind of thing, 13 can bring up some of the most incredible revelations with regards to the wisdom that comes through spirit. It's also a day on which we can really empower each other. Can be seen as the Nawal of teachers, and here with the number 13, those teachers may even be in spirit. And so there's, kind of like a lot of good benefits that can come through it. But with the 13 Can Day, it's also kind of like a day to, let's say, really make sure that we're grounded before we're going to do anything, because 13 can be just one of the, kind of like most powerful days of the whole calendar. And we really want to make sure that what we're seeing is truth rather than illusion before we make our move, and to put it through the filter of what is going to be good for the community to finish off that Trecena of Aj. Is this good for the community and my leadership of it, or is it good, for me? We've got to look at it from that point of view. Okay, so I hope that you've enjoyed this video, and I look forward to seeing you again in 13 days' time. Thank you.